Welcome, friends. We are recording live from the LBTQ Women's Inform, Inspire and Celebrate event in recognition of International Women's Week 2024. I'm your resident host, Meg Talks. And for this episode, I am joined by Pippa from LBTQ Women.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Meg.
Pippa, I've been waiting for this moment. I have been waiting for this moment and I'm really excited. And I think to kick off, how about you just introduce yourself, what your role is within the organisation, and also what you're individually passionate about.
The individually passionate about, that's a too long a story. Anyway, my name's Pippa Dale. I'm the founder of LBTQ Women, a network which I wanted to start up with a huge group of people and ever growing and ever wanting to grow. Myself, I'm personally from the corporate space. At this very precise moment, I work for the London Stock Exchange. But I love the London Stock Exchange, but who wants to stay at work all day, every day? I felt like it was important to build something that allowed me to reach out to you, Meg, introduce myself, find out who you are. And I wanted to do that on 1,000 different levels. So, yeah, it's a network to connect us in our own spaces, but just to bring us together all under the one banner that we are all belonging to part of the LBTQ women's space, wherever we are, whoever we are.
So what does this event and this moment symbolise in this global celebration of women?
I mean, right down to the detail, I'm quite a detailed orientated person. Mm-hmm. And to be able to marry and to collaborate with Pride in London, UK Black Pride, My G Work and LBTQ Women and Les Meet as the sort of lead headline sponsors. That alone really just meant an awful lot to me. There's so much unity that women bring to this our queer conversation, and I think today really epitomises that. International Women's Week, I always love that. It's like the birthday of the year, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I think I personally identify as being a woman, and a queer woman is probably my most highlighted identity that I carry. Mm-hmm. And so today I wanted to stand alongside some iconic individuals. Very excited to have Lady Phil with us, very excited to have Kaiser Rose, Tabs, you name it. Meg, you too. I mean, just having the opportunity of being able to stand beside you for a day and then hopefully gain enough energy to take me on for the rest of the year to really build ourselves. We are today is going to be talent packed. And I know that the rest of the year, I just really want to connect with you so we can make the rest of the year more joyous.
Wow, that I think that came from the heart. And I felt that. And I think looking at the roster of talent here, I was so happy to see so many of my friends. I think it's a great movement for young queer people who are mobilising and doing the work. But also there are so many new faces that I haven't met that bring equity, that bring opportunity and bring a voice to other aspects of this space. So I think today's going to be very meaningful, and it's undoubtedly going to be something that this moment's going to be something that people carry with them for the rest of the year. And I wanted to ask you, what do you consider to be the foundational keys for building community and togetherness for LGBT plus women?
The strapline for LBTQ Women is, if you think your home is with us, your home is with us. I think we're all grown-ups in the room. We know that we're a community that can sometimes, agitate each other, maybe have a crossword here and there. And what my purpose is for today and beyond, and is really just to remind ourselves that creating a home, I've got siblings. Do I get on with them every day? Did I get on with them every day when I grew up? Absolutely not. But do I want what's best for them? Absolutely I do. I want to raise them up. I want to be part of that family. So I'm very passionate about don't put aside your differences, but just remember that we're talent packed, that we all have the heart, the passion, the belief that we can all be better. And I feel very powerful that we forget to really, mark that. Today I want to mark that. I mark it every day of my year. And I feel that is my passion. And LBTQ women want to really just make sure that we remind ourselves what we can do when we are together And, we are all different, and that's important, and don't lose sight of it. Mm-hmm. But just remember the power of us when we do things together.
I as I'm kind of growing up and growing into myself, I definitely resonate with the whole idea of conflict, not getting along, but learning how not to get along and learning how to reestablish relationships and have some of those more difficult conversations, but also learning how to love each other in a way that we need on an individual and collective level as well.
Who's not thrown a shoe at their sibling? I mean, I don't know if my sisters will thank me for saying that. And I maybe look like I should have grown out of it, but who doesn't fall out with people that they love?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I actually wanted to tap, I'm going off piece here, but we're going off piece.
Let's go off piece.
But there was something that I've observed through your practices that you operate on an intergenerational scale. And I think sometimes from a young person's perspective or a young adult's perspective that there is that divide, and we need those who have come before us to help us navigate, because we don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of fumbling around and figuring it out. But having that access to people who are a bit more wiser than us that can help us to make some of those life decisions and so on. So what is it that drives you to operate in such an intergenerational way, which brings people across all age groups together?
I mean, two things, very simply. I mean, who the hell wants to hang out with your own age group all the time? Doesn't matter whether you're 20 or 70. I want to hang out, and when I'm 70, which is not that far away, I want to hang out with a 20-year-old. And it's the same. I don't want to hang out with just white people. I don't want to hang out with just British people. I don't want to hang out with just people from the south of the UK. I want us to really see each other and enjoy each other. So what inspires me and what do I want to bring to a young person? I want to bring a two-way street. I want to take from that person as much as I want to give. If I can give, I will. But I defy to find a 20-year-old, a 15-year-old who also somewhere doesn't want to also give. It's a two-way street. I'm not bringing any more to a table than a young person is bringing to my table.
And that's consistent. So I know we've had conversations, and I've definitely felt that sentiment that you care about my well-being, you care about my journey. There's always the questions asked beyond the context that frame the context of how we navigate forward. And just to acknowledge that, I think sometimes we're great at talking in sound bites or saying what sounds good, but being intentional about behaving in that way, I think is just as valuable, and really, really touches hearts. I did want to ask, so space is designed specifically for LGBT plus women. How do they add value? And how do they add value to a person's personal development and perspective of the world? That's the question I want to ask.
So, I mean, there's how to bring value as a community outside of the LGBT community. Mm-hmm. I feel like queer women generally have fallen in the same road. They've taken the same route as women in society. 50% of the community, but lesser voice, lesser powerful a voice, lesser part of the conversation. And I feel queer women are doing the same. So I want to stop that. Every time I do events like this, we don't do them often, but we do them. And we do them digitally, we do them in person. But I'm jaw-struck by the talent that is in our community. It amazes me every single day. And I want to make sure the rest of society sees that and comes and gets it, comes and says, I need you with me. So we can only do that if we bring ourselves together, whether that be private or whether that be public. And whether you want to have an event just for your niche set of group of people, I don't want to be offended that I'm not invited. I want to know that it's happening, and I want to say, what is it that you're learning from each other? I want to hear about it. I want to understand it. I don't need to be a part of it, but I need to make sure society sees us, because they are going to need us to make a better future. Sounds maybe a very big piece to make a better future, but queer women need to be part of that making a better future.
I hear that. Amen to that. So last couple of questions before we wrap up. Have you ever found a space that was specifically designed for LGBT women that acted as a social home or a safe space for you?
I mean, this is it. Today we're in WeWork's offices in London. I wish I could be in WeWork's offices globally, or any space globally, nationally, in the north. I know that in my years on the planet that I have found myself isolated. And I just want to be able to wake up on a Saturday morning and go somewhere. I don't care whether it doesn't have to be specifically for my community, but if I had the choice of going to, let's say, a mainstream brand coffee shop, a queer-owned brand coffee shop owned by two boys, or a lesbian-owned coffee shop, it's a high street coffee shop. But what am I going to choose? Mm-hmm. I'm going to choose the lesbian-owned coffee shop. And that is really something that I want to be able to highlight, that we should be celebrating our identities, whatever we're doing when we're walking around the street, because I want that space. I want to be able to find myself in a slightly me-facing, whether it's a bookshop, a coffee shop, a baker, somebody who's helping me with my accounts. I don't care what it is, but I know I want to be intentional with my people. Mm-hmm. And I want to be proud about that. I don't want to do that as favoritism. I want to do it because I trust and I believe in the queer femme community very strongly. Mm. And I don't think I'm the only one. I see you, Meg. I know you think that, you know, we haven't known each other long, but already there's a connection, which I would never connect without our shared identities.
Mm. And lastly, you're a person that I recognise, you stand in all of your authentic power. There's no question of a doubt. Why?
Why do I, oh Lord, I've never been asked that question before in my life. Why do I like to stand in my authentic power? Or how do I, or why do I?
Why do you? And then we can get onto the how.
Why do I? I like, you know, it's taken a little while, but I didn't like the fact that I wasn't the most feminine of looking women when I was younger. But now I like it. I find joy in it. I don't have to be that stereotype, Instagrammable face. I sense I'm quirky looking, and I like it now. And I actually feel like I wasted a lot of my younger self fussing about whether I was quirky looking or not. And so now I like the way I physically appear. And I want to really make sure that my sisters can also benefit from that sense. And I know that we want women, and it can be including trans women, non-binary women, or non-binary individuals. I know that we think we are not trapped by how we physically appear, but we do get trapped by it. And I really want to make sure that people say, just the way you are, just come, be present, stand with me. You know, be part of my home. I want to be part of your home if that's what you would like. Mm-hmm. So I think that gives me the power to walk through life with my authentic self, right down to my fingertips, to my toes. I think there's a lot of, and I enjoy that, and I would like others to really benefit from that sentiment.
Pippa, it has been a moment.
Well, Meg, I don't know. You meet so many sensational people. I love your podcast. I definitely want to see whether you and I can continue working together.
Well, folks, on that note, I'm sure that you will see more collaborations that add value and add meaning. But Pippa, it's been a fantastic conversation. Thank you for bringing us all together to participate in this day and in this moment. And any last words? Literally,
come if you hear this podcast and you think that you just want to either come and participate as a joiner, join our out directory, or if you want to get dirty and get involved, come and join us. The home is fun.
Come on, let's do it. All right, folks, take care. Bye.
Thank you.